Why your avoidant partner isn't your soulmate. They say love should feel like home. But what happens when home was never warm? What happens when the place that was supposed to keep you safe felt cold, distant, or even unsafe? If you've ever been drawn to someone avoidant, someone who shuts down when you get close, who retreats instead of opening up, you might have mistaken them for a soulmate. You told yourself, we just have this magnetic connection. It has to be destiny. But the truth is, what you're feeling may not be love. It might be something far more deceptive, something that doesn't heal you, but hooks you. It's called a trauma bond, and avoidants are often the perfect match for creating it, even if they don't realize they're doing it. Why it feels like love. Trauma bonds aren't about romance. They're about repetition. They're emotional muscle memory. At some point in your past, maybe in childhood, maybe in early relationships, you learned that love was inconsistent, that closeness was conditional, that the people you wanted most could also abandon, reject, or hurt you. Your nervous system took that experience and made it a blueprint. So when an avoidant comes along, charming, mysterious, self-contained, they feel strangely familiar. They give you just enough attention to feel seen, but never enough to feel secure. And your body whispers, this must be love. The early stages can feel intoxicating. The push and pull, the rare moments when they open up. It feels like striking gold. You crave it, you chase it. And here's the trap. Intermittent affection is one of the strongest psychological hooks that exists. The avoidant gives you love in unpredictable doses, just like a slot machine giving out random wins. And your brain keeps you coming back for the next hit. The price of the bond. One of the clearest signs you're stuck in a trauma bond is the way you begin to tolerate things you never thought you would. You tell yourself, it's just who they are. Or, maybe I'm asking for too much. Slowly, you start lowering your standards just to keep the connection alive. Think about it. Maybe you used to value consistency, but now you're satisfied with an occasional text or a rare night of closeness. Maybe you used to speak up when something bothered you, but now you stay quiet because you fear pushing them further away. Your needs don't disappear, you just bury them. And every time you silence yourself, the bond gets tighter. Because the relationship isn't built on mutual trust or safety. It's built on anxiety and relief. When they withdraw, your nervous system goes into overdrive. Your body reacts as if it's in danger. Your thoughts spiral. What did I do wrong? Are they leaving me? How can I fix this? You feel desperate, panicked, almost like you can't breathe until they come back. And when they finally return, with a text, a smile, or a small gesture, the relief floods in. For a moment, everything feels okay again. That rush of relief is so powerful, it tricks you into thinking the love is deepening. But in reality, what's deepening is your dependency. You're not bonding through love. You're bonding through survival. That's why the pain feels so unbearable. You're not chasing connection. You're chasing relief from withdrawal. And just like with any addiction, the highs get shorter, the lows get longer, and the cost to your peace of mind gets heavier. What's really happening for the avoidant? Avoidants don't experience this bond the same way you do. For them, closeness feels unsafe. Their nervous system learned early on that intimacy equals pain, rejection, or loss of control. So when you get too close, they pull back, not to hurt you, but to protect themselves. Unfortunately, that retreat activates your abandonment wounds. You chase harder, they feel smothered, and the cycle keeps repeating. We call them mysterious, hard to read, deep. But often the mystery isn't depth, it's distance. And that distance fuels the trauma bond. You fall in love with their potential, not their reality. Meanwhile, you spend more time anxious than secure, more lonely than connected. That is not what a soulmate feels like. Breaking the cycle. Breaking free from a trauma bond isn't just about walking away from the avoidant. It's about breaking away from the entire pattern your nervous system is addicted to. And that's what makes it so difficult. Because your body doesn't just miss them, it misses the roller coaster. The highs of closeness, the lows of distance, the intoxicating relief when they finally come back. It's not just emotional, it's chemical. Your brain releases dopamine and oxytocin in those rare moments of connection, and that hit keeps you hooked. That's why leaving feels like withdrawal. You don't just grieve the person, you grieve the fantasy, the hope, the tiny scraps of affection that felt like proof you mattered. And part of you still believes, if I just hold on a little longer, maybe this time will be different. But here's the shift. Once you recognize the cycle for what it is, you take away its power. You begin to see that you're not craving love. You're craving relief from anxiety. And relief is not the same as love. Breaking the cycle means learning to sit with the discomfort instead of running back for relief. It means reminding yourself, I am not addicted to them, I'm addicted to the pattern. It means asking hard questions like, if I met them today, knowing what I know now, would I choose them? It also means grieving, not just the avoidant, but the version of yourself that believed crumbs were enough. That grief hurts, but it's also the beginning of freedom. Over time, as you set boundaries, as you choose consistency over chaos, your nervous system begins to heal. You relearn what love actually feels like. Safe, steady, nourishing. You stop mistaking scarcity for specialness. You stop confusing drama for depth. And slowly, you build a version of yourself that will never again settle for broken love. Why staying hurts you more. Some people spend years locked in trauma bonds, waiting for the avoidant to wake up and finally love them fully. They believe loyalty will be rewarded, that suffering now will lead to joy later. But avoidants rarely change unless they actively seek healing. And many don't, not because they're bad people, but because facing their fears of intimacy feels like facing a storm they've been running from their whole lives. If you keep waiting, you're not in a love story. You're in an endurance test. And the prize at the end is more of the same. What real love looks like. Real love isn't guessing games. It doesn't make you feel like you're too much one day and not enough the next. It doesn't demand that you shrink, silence, or prove yourself. Real love is steady. It's safe. It's a harbor, not a battlefield. The pull you feel toward an avoidant isn't destiny. It's familiarity. And familiarity is not the same as compatibility. If you mistake it for fate, you'll keep repeating the same heartbreak in different faces. Healing means retraining your nervous system to know what love really feels like. It means setting boundaries that don't collapse every time fear knocks on the door. It means grieving, not just the avoidant, but the fantasy version of them you built in your head. That grief is painful, but it's also the first step toward a connection that doesn't drain you. Walking away from an avoidant doesn't mean you failed. It means you finally chose yourself. You chose peace over distance, clarity over confusion. A love story where you don't have to beg for scraps. Because real soulmates don't keep you in chains. They hand you the key. And sometimes that soulmate is you. So if you're living on emotional crumbs, it's time to leave the table. Because somewhere out there, and more importantly, somewhere within yourself, is a version of love that is safe, steady, and real. And that love will find you the moment you stop chasing the one who keeps running away. If this message resonated, subscribe for more conversations like this. Because healing is a journey, and you don't have to walk it alone. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, give yourself permission to choose peace over pain. Your soulmate isn't the one who keeps you in chains. Your soulmate is the one who hands you the key. And sometimes that person is you.